Forget the romantic tales of medieval Scotland. The truth was far grimmer. This land of breathtaking glens and craggy highlands was a crucible of unending conflict, a place where life was cheap, loyalty was everything, and death lurked in every shadow. From the clash of claymores to the whisper of ancient feuds, the Scottish spirit was hammered into resilience by centuries of brutal hardship. This is how. Medieval Scotland was a land fractured by fiercely independent clans. Each was a sovereign mini-state bound by blood, honor, and an unshakable loyalty that often eclipsed allegiance to any distant king. At the heart of this society stood the chief, warlord, judge, and father figure, responsible for his people's survival. To betray one's clan was to invite swift, brutal retribution. But this intense loyalty had a dark twin: relentless, generations-long feuds. Few rivalries were as infamous as that between Clan Campbell and Clan Macdonald, two titans locked in a centuries-old struggle for dominance in the west of Scotland. Their animosity was sparked in the early 14th century when Robert the Bruce, the freedom seeker, granted lands in Argyll to the Campbells, lands the Macdonalds considered their ancient birthright. What followed was a poisoned inheritance of raids, burning villages, and merciless slaughter. One chilling event in 1646 saw Campbell forces acting on government orders massacre dozens of Macdonald men, women, and children as they slept in their homes in Glencoe. This atrocity would forever scar the Campbell name and fuel the Macdonalds' cry for vengeance, a stark reminder of how clan loyalties could be manipulated by outside powers, like the English crown, eager to pit Scot against Scot. For the common folk caught in this endless cycle, life was a daily tightrope walk. A rival clan could descend at any moment, leaving devastation and death. Yet the clan system, for all its savagery, offered a profound sense of belonging, a family that would fight for you, a legacy stretching back through the mists of time. Below the warring chiefs and their clansmen lay the vast majority of Scotland's population, the peasants, laborers, and tradesmen who formed the nation's backbone. Their lives were a relentless battle against poverty, disease, and oppression, beginning at an age when children could barely walk. From dawn to dusk, they toiled in fields, tending meager crops and livestock, their bodies bent and broken by unending labor. Men spent back-breaking hours plowing fields, herding sheep, and cutting peat for fuel. Women carried the dual burden of fieldwork and family care, often while pregnant or nursing. Miners risked cave-ins in black lung and dark, damp tunnels, extracting coal or stone with crude tools. Homes were cramped, smoky hovels, often shared with livestock for warmth against the bitter Scottish winters. Their diet was a meager monotony of oats, barley, and whatever vegetables could be coaxed from thin, rocky soil. Meat and fish were rare luxuries. Hunger was a constant, especially during famine or warfare, when marauding armies burned crops and slaughtered livestock. People resorted to eating bark, grass, or even dirt to survive. Disease was an ever-present specter. In an age without medicine, smallpox, typhoid, and the dreaded bubonic plague swept through communities, devastating families. For farmer Ian, a tenant on Clan Campbell lands, life was sunrise to sunset labor. His weathered hands guided the plow. He squinted at the sun, the stone tower of the clan chief looming in the distance, a constant reminder of unseen power. Recent cattle raids by the Macdonalds were still fresh in his memory, the bellows of cows, the screams of men, the clash of steel. His brother had not been so fortunate. Now, talk of retaliation. Ian felt a heavy weight, the endless cycle of violence. Yet even amidst such hardship, communities found solace. They celebrated seasonal festivals, danced to fiddles and pipes, told stories by the hearth, and clung to their faith. Bonds of kinship and community, forged in adversity, sustained them through the darkest times. Alongside the clans, the formidable Catholic Church was a dominant force in medieval Scotland, its influence reaching into every aspect of life. From the lowliest peasant to the highest noble, all were expected to tithe a portion of their income, supporting lavish clerical lifestyles while many families went hungry. The church controlled vast tracts of land, wielding temporal and spiritual power. Its grip was tightest on morality and belief. The teachings of the Bible and papal decrees were absolute law. Deviation meant swift, severe punishment. Heretics and blasphemers faced imprisonment, torture, or even death at the stake. Marriage was a sacrament strictly controlled by the clergy. Divorce, impossible. Defiance on sexuality risked public shaming or excommunication. Yet, the Church also offered comfort and refuge. Great abbeys and monasteries like Dunfermline Abbey, a burial site for Scottish kings, were centers of learning and charity. Monks and nuns tended the sick, fed the hungry, and sheltered weary travelers. One such figure was Queen Eleanor, an English princess who became Queen of Scotland in the 11th century after marrying King Duncan. A woman of deep piety, she reformed the Scottish Church, aligning it with Roman practices, promoting education and caring for the poor. She founded hospitals and orphanages, working tirelessly to alleviate suffering. But even Queen Eleanor's saintly example couldn't fully mitigate the Church's darker side. As fears of witchcraft grew in the 16th and 17th centuries, the Church aggressively pursued those suspected of trafficking with the devil. Witch hunts became common, with accused women facing brutal interrogations, forced confessions, torture, and burning at the stake. Their agonizing cries served as a chilling warning across the land. The Scottish people found themselves caught between the demands of their clan chiefs and the dictates of their church, their lives shaped by competing forces of loyalty and piety, faith and fear. Even as clans feuded and the church tightened its grip, a new existential threat loomed: the kings of England, who coveted Scotland's lands and riches. In 1296, the Iron King Edward of England, known as Longshanks, launched a full-scale invasion, claiming overlordship of the Scottish crown. His army swept across the border, laying waste to towns and villages. The Scots, outnumbered, were quickly overwhelmed. Their puppet king was captured and forced to abdicate. Scotland was under English rule.
But the Scots would not yield easily. Rebellions erupted, led by legendary figures. One was the legendary Guardian, a minor landowner from Renfrew who rose to lead a guerrilla army. Driven by love for his country and hatred for the oppressors, he rallied Scots, launching daring raids. His most famous victory came at the Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297, where his outnumbered forces funneled the English into a deadly trap, slaughtering thousands. He became a hero, a symbol of resistance. But his triumph was short-lived. In 1298, the Iron King Edward led a massive army, defeating the legendary Guardian's forces at the Battle of Falkirk. He became a fugitive. In 1305, betrayed by a Scottish noble, he was taken to London, tried for treason, and subjected to a gruesome death, hanged, drawn, and quartered at Smithfield. His head was displayed on London Bridge. Yet his sacrifice ignited a new generation. In 1314, at the Battle of Bannockburn, they finally had their chance. Led by the freedom seeker, who defied English claims to the crown, the Scots faced a larger, better-equipped English army. Their secret weapon, the schiltron, a tightly packed formation of spearmen. As the English charged, they met a bristling wall of Scottish spears. The schiltrons held firm, then struck back with devastating force. The Scots emerged victorious, a turning point in the Wars of Independence, giving them belief that freedom was possible. But the struggle was far from over. As if constant warfare and hardship weren't enough, Scotland faced an enemy no army could defeat: the Black Death. This horrific plague, already ravaging Europe, crept into Scotland's port towns in 1350 via trading ships and spread with terrifying speed. The ancient chronicler John of Fordun described the gruesome scenes. A great multitude of men died. Scarcely anyone dared go out of doors for fear of catching the disease. No village or clan was spared. In some places, entire families were wiped out, their bodies piled in the streets or buried hastily in mass graves. The sick were shunned, left to die alone in agony as black buboes swelled in their armpits and groins, their skin turning mottled and gangrenous. Panic and superstition ran rampant. Some blamed unseen evils, others saw it as divine punishment. Bands of flagellants roamed the countryside, whipping themselves in a bloody frenzy to atone for humanity's wickedness. Even the boldest, like Sir Gareth Douglas, retired to isolated spots to stoically await death rather than endanger others. By the time the worst passed, Scotland had lost nearly a third of its population. Fields lay fallow, cattle wandered unherded, markets stood abandoned. It was a blow from which the nation would take generations to recover. But life, somehow, went on. Survivors buried their dead, rebuilt shattered families, and clung to ancient customs. In the Highlands, clans still gathered for cattle drives. The mournful yet defiant skirl of bagpipes echoed through the glens, a sound of a people unbowed. In the lowlands, towns slowly revived, artisans resumed trades, and fairs tentatively reopened. Wool, hides, salt, and fish flowed once more, stitching the tattered fabric of the nation back together.
Even as Scotland clawed its way back, a deep cultural chasm persisted between the Gaelic-speaking Highlands and the Scots-speaking Lowlands. To the Lowlanders, their northern neighbors were wild, alien, often dismissed as backward barbarians given to cattle theft and lawlessness. Highland dress, music, and customs were seen as primitive. Conversely, Highlanders viewed Lowlanders as having surrendered their true Scottish identity by adopting English ways. This divide was etched into the landscape itself. The lowlands boasted grand abbeys, cathedrals, and royal burghs, symbols of wealth and centralized power. The Highlands, however, remained a rugged, untamed domain of steep glens, mist-shrouded lochs, and windswept moors, where clan loyalty outweighed royal writ. For centuries, a powerful figure known as the Lord of the Isles personified this distinct Gaelic identity, ruling a vast, semi-autonomous kingdom across the Hebrides and Western Highlands, from strongholds like Finlagan Castle on Islay. These lords acted as kings, warring with rivals, and even conducting diplomacy with England. In 1462, Lord Columb, the fourth Lord of the Isles, launched a rebellion against King Fergus, only to be defeated. His lordship was eventually annexed to Scotland in 1493 by King Alistair, marking the twilight of their semi-independent rule. Despite attempts by Stuart monarchs like King Ewan to impose central authority and suppress Gaelic language and customs through acts like the Statutes of Iona, the Highlands remained defiant. Raids and feuds persisted. However, the two regions were never fully isolated. Trade, particularly in cattle, was a vital link, with Highland drovers selling their stock at trysts like Crieff and Inverness. Wine, ale, fabrics, and metalwares flowed north, demonstrating a complex coexistence despite mutual suspicion. This Highland-Lowland divide would forever remain a defining fault line, shaping Scotland's unique dual identity. Of medieval Scotland is one of unending struggle against warring clans, foreign invaders, the church's demands, and the ravages of famine and plague. The vast majority of Scots, from Farmer Ian to the legendary Guardian, faced lives of brutal toil, uncertainty, and early death. Yet they endured. This unrelenting pressure forged a people of remarkable resilience, whose spirit refused to be broken. They rebuilt after devastation, tilled blighted fields, and clung fiercely to their traditions. Their unwavering loyalty to kin, their deep-seated faith, and their tenacious grasp on their identity allowed them to survive. From the fierce war cries echoing across the glens to the quiet dignity of a peasant's daily labor, the Scottish people carved out a nation against impossible odds. The ancient stones of their castles and abbeys still stand as silent witnesses to this enduring spirit. The hardy thistle, growing defiantly amidst the heather, embodies their stubborn refusal to yield. And the proud, independent character of Scotland today is a direct legacy of those centuries of hardship. We who live in an age of comfort and plenty can scarcely imagine their daily struggles, but by remembering their sacrifices and fortitude, we gain a profound appreciation for the human spirit's capacity to persevere. The medieval Scots, with all their flaws and triumphs, built the foundations of the Scotland we know. Their collective will, their unshakable belief in their right to freedom, resonated through the Declaration of Arbroath in 1320. For as long as but 100 of us remain alive, never will we on any conditions be brought under English rule. It is in truth not for glory, nor riches, nor honors that we are fighting, but for freedom, for that alone, which no honest man gives up but with life itself. These words, etched in history, continue to echo. Their memory challenges us to cherish the peace and security they fought and died for. The simple joys of a full belly and a warm hearth, taken for granted now, were hard-won gifts from ancestors whose lives were a constant battle. The legacy of medieval Scotland is not just tales of battles and kings, but the unbreakable bond of a people who endured together, a bond that connects us all to the blood and bone of a past that forged a nation like iron in the flames. May their unyielding spirit ever burn bright, guiding us forward.